All right, let's talk about IU basketball. Let's talk about some bright spots. I want to talk about Indiana in a positive light because I would like to believe in them, right? Coach Woodson is obviously out after this year. Right after that announcement is made, Indiana started winning. They beat Michigan State. That was a big-time win. I believe that was on the road as well. So one argument is that Indiana's playing a bit more loosely. They're playing a bit more carefree. They're doing their own thing a little bit better because they know that at the end of the day, Mike Woodson isn't going to be there next year. So maybe for a morale standpoint, that kind of boosts things and that allows Indiana to play their own way and play more freely and loosely, as I was saying. That could be an impact. That could be having an impact. We'll see if that carries through the rest of the year. They beat Michigan State and then lost in a close one at home to Mick Cronin and UCLA. But let's talk about some bright spots. Indiana doesn't play a game for a while, which is the reason why we're doing this segment. They played UCLA on Friday night, Valentine's Day. They don't play another game all week long until Purdue on Saturday at 1:30 at home. Big time game, the biggest game on the schedule for Indiana. It's Purdue in Assembly Hall, and they have plenty of time to prepare for that. That's very exciting for Hoosier fans. And I want to talk about some bright spots and maybe some optimism going into that game. Yes, they had an air home loss to UCLA on Valentine's Day. We have that big break before Purdue. Luke Goody is the number one bright spot for me for Indiana. I love watching Luke Goody play basketball. He averages only 9 points per game on 25 minutes. He's a 42.8% field goal shooter, 40% three-point shooter, which is very good. I like that and by the way, his field goal percentage is so low, partially because the majority of his field goals are threes, right? Again, averages 9 points per game on 25 minutes. He's not a consistent player at all. He's had multiple double-digit performances in recent games, but still can show up and drop three, right? That's the Luke Goody experience where sometimes he's fantastic, sometimes he's not. It really comes down to whether or not he can hit those threes from the corner. And that leads me into my next point in that he knows his role, and he plays that role very, very well. He understands and is aware of the fact that he is the guy that sort of stands in the corner and shoots threes, right? He knows what he is. He knows what impact he's supposed to have. He plays a clean game. He rarely fouls. He makes his free throws. He makes his free throws at a 92.3% rate. He's only missed 3, and he's taken almost 40. He shoots the 3 ball well, so that's exciting. But my favorite part about Luke Goody is his attitude. He's optimistic. Remember that speech earlier in the year where I believe this was right after Indiana got blown away by Illinois at home. And the conversation was, it was Luke Goody in a press conference, and he was saying, we're going to turn this thing around. Don't switch up on us when we do, instilling a lot of confidence or exemplifying perhaps his confidence in the team, in the roster, in the coaching staff. That was not really accurate, obviously. Indiana's probably not going to turn this thing around, at least maybe to the degree that he would hope. But that optimism was encouraging, and it was inspiring, and it was good to see from a guy that played at Illinois his whole career, right? And then transfers here for a senior year for an opportunity to supplement this IU team that has an opportunity to go up and do great things maybe in the tournament. And it has been a complete failure and a complete letdown. But Luke Goody still clearly loves IU. He's committed to winning. It hurts that this will be his only season. Most likely his only season. There's talk about him maybe getting a fifth-year eligibility due to injury situations. He's the main reason I want to see this thing get turned around this year, right? Luke Goody, now that Woodson's out for sure, Luke Goody's a great guy to root for, fun guy to watch play. Again, he knows his role. He makes his he does everything he's supposed to do. He doesn't foul. He makes his free throws when he needs to. He's the guy you kick out to hit a big three. And yeah, he's not that consistent. He doesn't shoot that well every single game, but when he does, he does. And it's very, very fun to watch. Luke Goody is my number one bright spot for this IU team. And if they somehow, and we'll talk about the likelihood of this in a second, if they somehow work their way into the NCAA tournament, Luke Goody could be a very fun guy to watch and allow them to win 1, maybe 2 games once they get there. The number 2 bright spot for me for Indiana is their close competition with elite opponents, right? They knocked off MSU just a couple days ago. They lost by 3 to Michigan. They lost by 5 to Purdue. That game, they were leading for a large percentage of that game at Purdue. This team is objectively bad in close games, right? We know that. That's understood. They're 3-5